Hello again and welcome back to Illegally Cited. This is Jesse and I am back for another low vision spotlight game video. And this time we are taking a look at it's a game, but I would call it an interactive documentary. It is called The Making of Karateka, however you want to say it. And we'll get into that in a bit. But this is so in the past I've covered some things from Digital Eclipse. And right up at the front of this video, what I'm going to say is thank you, Digital Eclipse. Thank you. And companies like Digital Eclipse and Night Dive Studios are doing just some amazing work right now with bringing back old games and preserving games, and just like what Digital Eclipse is doing alone. I mean, we've had the Cowabunga collection, we had the Atari 50 collection that we had last fall, and now they're starting this new gold series where they're, instead of taking something like Atari where you're like, oh, let's dive into the whole history of Atari and their legacy from the 2600, 52, 7800, and beyond. Now we're diving really deeply into influential games like Karateka. And even if I didn't this is, like I said, this is a Gold Series game. Where, think of it like Criterion Collection for movies. Even if it's not a movie, or even if they do a future game that I'm not super into, I will still likely get the making of whatever they do next in the Gold Series, because it's fascinating the way they do their documentary. It's you're not just passively watching, you're watching things, you're playing prototypes, you're reading things, you're getting to see early builds and prototypes. I mean, it's really, really cool. And if they dive into, again, they're trying to dive into games that really, had influence in games. So I'm very, very curious to see what they're going to cover next. But let's dive in here. So our man Jordan Mechner here created Karateka, Prince of Persia. Those are probably his two most well-known games. And I will say, Karateka is actually the first, coincidentally, it is the first computer game I ever played on the Apple II. So it is the first computer game I ever played. It is the first Apple II game I ever played. So it's kind of a coincidence. I know I mentioned that before when I've covered, they had that iOS port of Karateka a few years back. They did that early on in the channel. There was that kind of modern interpretation of Karateka that was both on PC and iOS. And so when you go in here, this is your main menu. And it's not broken down like, new game, or you're picking between iterations of games. Yes, I can hit Y at any time on my controller to go into a game library, which we'll do in a bit. But I want to explore the timeline. Like, I've played this for a little over 3 hours last night. And I don't think I even played anything until like 2.5 hours in, because I was just fascinated watching the documentary stuff, or going through some of it. So like Atari 50, it's broken down into different segments of time. So, like your first section here is Death Bounce. This is one of the first games that Jordan tried to make before making Karateka, because he was originally starting to make these arcade style games. Like, look at right there on the left, that is kind of, you'll see it in a little bit here. We'll play a prototype. But so he started out doing that, and then he tried to submit it to Broderbund a few times, and it just wasn't. They were sort of interested, but they just kept kind of rejecting him. And they're like, well, you're really good at this, but what if, you made something a little bit more cinematic, a little more current, a little more cutting edge? And he saw a game that inspired him, Choplifter. And he then said, oh, this kind of tells a story. And some of his family was doing martial arts at the time, like his mom and that was doing some martial arts. And he's like, what if I tell a karate story? What if I tell a martial arts story? And that is how Karateka was essentially born. So if I go in, well, let's see. So I can choose. I can go down another section. We have from karate to Karateka. Let's see. We have drawing from life. This was really a cool section because it talks about how him and his father. The one thing I love about this particular documentary is his father, Francis, was really helpful, just really supportive, and a lot of the video interview stuff we'll look at a little bit here is him and his father talking, about like what happened, and his dad composed the music that was then translated into the Apple II version. He gave him ideas. He was actually one of the models that they used for the running animation for when they rotoscoped the thing. It's just, like I said, it's a fascinating story, and that's what I love about this. The next section, marketing a masterpiece. And then the final section, Karateka 2, which never happened, but there was a project that I didn't even know about. Some other dude made this crazy, like, over-the-top animation based on, it's basically like the first instance of machinima. It wasn't playable, but you could watch it. And then you see here the stuff on the left, again, when he was thinking about doing a sequel, you see how it eventually, we'll look at some of the screenshots and stuff, and it kind of, you can see exactly, oh yeah, that kind of turned into Prince of Persia. So let's go into Death Bounce. You go in here, and just like Atari 50, it is a timeline. And I will say, if you're reading this on a large monitor, the text is good contrast, which is nice. It's pretty easy to see. And I can just hit, so here's a video. I'm going to go ahead and hit A. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but I'll pop a little bit into both, a few videos for you so you can see. There's about an hour's worth of content here.
So, this is a MediaMate, and it contains a bunch of 5 and a quarter inch discs. There's a lot of classics here, including Wolfenstein and Beyond Castle Wolfenstein, which inspired us later.
Heck yeah.
And just behind that,
the original ones.
The game,
Karateka. Hell yeah.
It's so good.
I know, right?
I remember seeing Karateka and wanting it, and then
John Tobias.
But I think I saved up some money. And
Mr. Mortal Kombat.
I was sold on the box artwork alone. Kind of told a story. I remember the illustration was really well done.
That's cool artwork.
And again, just kind of told a story of what that game was. And eventually I picked it up and started playing it.
When I first loaded it up, what I expected was something down the lines of Karate Champ. Or similar.
Karate Champ was not really good.
Instead, what I got was a
I wanted it to be cool, but oof, it was kind of rough.
Right? The fact that it started with, a text crawl, which to my mind, that was right out of Star Wars, right? That cinematic experience.
1984 is when this came out originally.
Amazing, right? It was the most movie-like experience I'd ever had in a video game.
Okay, so we're going to stop there. Let's just cruise down the timeline some more. So again, sometimes, and one thing that I will do, I did go through all of the timeline, and I went through and I kind of looked at the stuff that was easier for me to do visually. But there's a lot of stuff that I want to go back and maybe do some OCR on because they're not narrated. But you get things like there's like when he was originally trying to submit Death Bounce, he literally kept a lot of like the letters that he sent to Broderbund and that Broderbund had sent back. He has design documents for when he actually started making Karateka. So not many developers document like what they were doing, especially, you know, small developers who just kind of make the game. But like, I guess Jordan had so much stuff available still that he had saved, that it was, yeah, I mean, it's available. So we keep going down the timeline. We got some pictures here. Here's the Atari, or not Atari, here's the Apple II. I can zoom in. Man, that I remember those old Apple IIs. He was lucky to have 2 disk drives. I remember one I used only had 1, I think. God, I remember that old style keyboard. But yeah, I can zoom in, zoom out, I can pan, there's little captions I can hide, whatever. And you gotta watch, because if I go over here, there are certain things where I can go down. So here's the letters. I can go in here, like the invoices and stuff. I can look at them. But I can go, you see the arrows on the timeline. I can go down and then dig further into. So again, I'm zooming in here. We got some graph paper with some designs for what he was working on for Death Bounce and whatnot. And go down here. Here's a letter. Again, this is something that I could OCR to try to read, so it's easier for me to read because it's typed. You know, but there's a summary of the letter here. Yeah, written from Hayden Software. Okay, December 1980. Okay. And there's a little description. But yeah, I mean, so literally I can go back up to the timeline here. We got a floppy disk. I can rotate it. I can zoom in. I can do whatever. Got some more photos. There's another video because I want to show you a couple of with Jordan and his dad. Because let's see. I got to find it here. I think it might be this. I love these videos because just like how supportive his dad was and still is.
Jordan was from a different world when I met him.
I don't think I ever heard a
maybe it isn't this one.
college-related story from him. He was in a different world. I think college was just a place he lived.
We'll take a look at a little bit of it, though.
That he gave.
Oh, here we go.
Me making games. The fact that I was in college, but I was taking my computer with me and spending most of my time on these games.
You know, I always encouraged everything you wanted to do. I was indiscriminate.
Good for you, Dad.
That's true. I don't remember you ever trying to discourage me or telling me that I should focus on my studies.
In our family, that's what works best. People follow their passions, and that usually leads to a good result.
And so Jordan was this really, like his father played Go, his father played chess, just a very intellectual background, and yet Jordan was so into pop culture. Jordan loved all of the movies that come out, Star Wars and Indiana Jones and all of those movies, and also classics of cinema. So he was well versed in all of it. So he's this intellectual, like a consummate intellectual, but who's super into pop art forms as well. And I think Jordan managed to sort of gain control of his life, and you know, everything else sort of fell away from that.
So we'll stop there again. Again, I'm not going to show you all of these, but I loved watching these because, you know, there was a couple times where it was just like, oh man, that's just so cool. Because I remember growing up, you know, my parents don't mind now because, well, I'm finally employed. I have a full-time job. If I want to spend my money on games, okay, fine. You know, they can't stop me now. But on top of that, now that they know, like, hey, I've actually, because I've told them, you know, I do some technology and game accessibility consulting work. Like, I'm actually doing stuff with games. And so, like, okay, I guess you're making some money with it, you know. So they're not, like, and they've kind of realized that gaming isn't going anywhere. You know, adults play games. It's not just this kiddie thing anymore. But I was watching Francis and Jordan, their videos, and it was so cool to them. It was so cool to see them working together, like his dad giving him cool, like, he, even though he wasn't really into video games, like, he wanted to kind of learn about them because his son was making them and playing them. There was one where he was talking about, he'd go to the arcade and play Asteroids all the time. But it was just something, like, I wish I had, like, don't get me wrong, like, I love my mom and dad, but, like, I never really had, my dad's a farmer, he's a mechanic, he does all kinds of cool stuff, but I never really had all that much in common with him, and it would just be really cool to have something that we could just dive in together and do something cool like that. So it was just really cool to see how supportive and kind of the teamwork that they did to build the project. So we got more stuff here. So let's go back and we'll go down to the next one because there's other things I want to show. We will get into some games and prototypes here. Let's see, what was this one? Okay. We'll watch a little bit of this one here.
I was thinking about how Karateka got started. Do you remember how he got started?
So I was in college. It was my freshman year, I think, in college.
Yeah.
I probably came home on vacation.
Yeah.
At one point with this new project that was starting, and we were taking karate lessons at the local gym at Chappaqua. I remember that.
You were?
Well, Mom and Emily and
Yeah,
I took some
that your
too.
mother and Emily were doing karate very vigorously.
Yeah, so I took karate lessons too that summer. I didn't get very good at it. I think I was a yellow belt or something like that.
Became a black belt.
Yeah.
Nice.
So how did you come up with the idea of a villain and the prince and the princess? Where'd you get that from?
I think it was really Choplifter that gave me the idea.
Yep, so there's there's some footage of Choplifter.
The story was.
I played this back in the
Since I knew
day.
the
I was
gameplay
bad
was
at
a
it.
series of karate battles. It was really, I just turned to the Bruce Lee movies.
Yeah,
It's the-
Bruce Lee.
Heck
the
yeah.
simplest kind of story. It's always a series of karate battles leading up to the battle with
And
the.
the drama was when there's a problem and the hero has to solve it.
Okay, so again, I just want to zip through these. Let's see. I think it's the next section. So here's an early kind of a early render. You got this, not quite a stick figure, but you got this dude over here. You can kind of see it's kind of a solid wall right now. It's not like the gate that they eventually came, but you kind of see the framework there. I can go down in here. But there's, like I said, there's some other things. Let's go into the next section because I think it's this one where things really get cool. Let's see, because I want to do more than just movies. So yeah, let me see. So this is neat. Like, again, rotoscoping, they explain that process. And, you're tracing, you're looking at video footage of his karate instructor or his dad, and to make your keyframe poses, like you look at like a punch or a kick, or when you're climbing up at the beginning of the game, you see the arrow on the right-hand side of the image there. So I can kind of look at the process of each sort of frame or each animation, and you get to see, kind of your different keyframes. So if I go down, we'll look at another one. So there's your bow. Okay. So we're in a fighting stance. Okay. Different stances. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Okay, that's just that one. It's so cool that he had all this stuff still. Okay, yeah, your low kick. Okay. Oh, okay, he went down, actually. Gotcha. All right. So, you get that. Let's see, what else can we do here? I don't want to show too many movies, but again, here you get some actual, really crisp. I love how they restored this and digitized it. I mean, it's handwritten notes. Real hard for me to read visually, but it's cool just looking at the like the design art and things that he was considering. Okay, so you got a punching bag and karate dude over there. Like I said, there's so much stuff here. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, see, there's the gates. It's not the wall anymore. Now that's starting to look like the Apple II game that we all remember. Oh, and they actually have the footage of actually. I think, yeah. We won't watch all this, but this is the actual footage. They have all the different things where it's like, oh, somebody running, somebody climbing up on a car. That's how they did the animation for when they started the game, when he's climbing up on the walkway at the beginning of the game. So running up, doing a stop real quick. It's just cool to see that. I think there was one also where they had like on the left they show the real footage, and then on the right they show like in the game like how they after it was rotoscoped. Oh, this is cool. Here's like the different poses, and here's the animation once you got all the frames together. I mean, yeah, you can kind of see where the frames and stuff are a little bit, but look at this again. I mean, for an Apple II back in 1984, I mean, this still looks pretty damn fluid. Like, that's way more animation than you saw in most video games. I mean, characters didn't generally have that fluid of animation. So it was really cool. Let's see. So yeah, here we got the climbing up animation you see. Let's just zoom in a little bit for you. So there's the empty space. Okay, he's climbing up there. Okay, up just a little bit there. Climbing up a little more. Putting his hand out for stability. He's up. Yeah, he's almost up and standing, and then he's standing. So yeah, taking your... this is kind of just a neat thing. Let me see. Okay, yeah, you can mess with like some of the visuals and stuff on this too, so you can look at the frames. That's the actual footage. So yeah, let's go down and look at marketing. I'll play a short, I think it's a short video here that I kind of found amusing. Let's see, I'll have to find it. Is it this one? No, let's see. I thought there was a video here somewhere. Let's see. I love that artwork. That's cool. Maybe it wasn't on this. I don't remember which one it was on, but they're talking about how it's pronounced. What was this one again? The bird. That damn bird.
Yeah, it was pretty hard.
So some reaction. It might have been in one of the other. It might have been in an earlier one, but all right. So that's the timeline. Again, you're getting to see, and they even have some cut stuff that didn't actually make it into the game. But at any time, I can just hit the Y button. No, I don't want to quit. Or X button, my bad. And we can go to the game library. So, you know, again, most retro collections or whatever, they just, here's the game, here's maybe a little bit of artwork, here's maybe a little bit of whatever. But I love everything around. I mean, it's cool. I love the game itself in this case, but I love the everything around it, like the whole interactive documentary. This is, I mean, when they say gold series, it is definitely the gold standard in how you want to preserve, especially talk to the developers, talk to the actors or whoever was involved, anyone in the creation process, because, you know, especially these older games, people aren't going to be around anymore. Let's preserve this stuff, not only the games themselves, but like the history for nerds like myself who are just dig the hell out of this. So let's play the Karateka Apple II version. Now we have two options. We can play, and we will play it in just a second, but watch this. We can watch the game, and then we can jump in at any time. But here's the cool part. Check this out. I'm going to hit A.
I am Jordan Mechner.
I hit Y when I'm starting the game. During the playthrough,
Francis Mechner, Jordan's father, and
you actually get full game commentary for the Apple II version of Karateka, the original that Jordan made.
Scrolling that I could manage on the Apple II.
This is fascinating right here.
The Apple II didn't have things like scrolling built in, so we actually had to copy each line of pixels, erase it, and then redraw it one line higher.
Oh God, that would be tedious.
That looks smooth.
That is fascinating.
I remember the first time reading that, I realized that this game was going to be a success.
All right, so we're going to back out, and we're going to start it again. But we're going to play it this time, and I'm going to probably do terrible, because I have not played, like I said, I've explored this game for a few hours, but I haven't really played the games that much yet. But now we don't have any commentary, and I'm actually going to be playing. So there's our Karateka logo. That is a cool background with the castle. That would make a cool-ass wallpaper. I will always remember that intro sequence. Dun, 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 dun. I love it. Come here, buddy. What's up? Want some of this? Come on. And you had high, mid, and low punches and kicks. So you kind of had to read what the other enemy was doing, kind of guess what they were doing, you know, kind of pick your pattern. You see on the left there below, on the bottom left, that's my health, the little arrows. On the right, that is, well, that guy has no health anymore. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. All right. Excellent. So we did that. And that was another thing I saw in one of the videos. His dad, oh, this is cool. So there's our bad guy. No speech or anything, just points at the guy, go out and destroy him. And then you get this cut back and forth. You're walking, then it cuts to him walking, and eventually we're going to meet up. You don't quite know when. Oh, here we go. Okay, don't. There we go. Ooh, yeah, he got me a little bit there. I didn't let off in time. But what I was saying was in one of the videos, it was Jordan's dad who actually said, you know, before it was just like a line, like a health bar at the bottom. And he's like, well, it was hard to know how much damage you were doing. Or you see the little stars when I get hit or he gets hit? Those were a couple things that his dad suggested. Oh, wow, I'm doing crappy because I'm not paying attention. I'm talking. Can I get him? Yeah. He's like, maybe it would be better if they were just arrows, because then you can more clearly see how many points of health they're taking away. And you didn't know who was getting hit or whatever, so that's where it suggested the little star explosions when you make contact. So it was cool. Like, even though Francis didn't have, or his dad didn't have any, you know, real gaming background, he I kicked his ass. He kind of was intuitive intuitive enough to know, like, oh, with the interface, like, what, oh god, oh, I walked right into that. That was bad. He knew just, like, what would make things better and more understandable to a beginner gamer, because he was himself. You know, he's like, well, how do you know if you're actually making contact, or you hear the impact, you hear the little poof, poof. But it's more clear, especially if you're attacking at the same time. You can kind of tell. So that's the Apple II version of Karateka. And you can, again, you can kind of fast forward, you can rewind, you can do all kinds of stuff. There's some filters and everything. You can watch the game if you want to see a full playthrough and you're terrible at it. Then you have, so there's 3 versions of Karateka here. There's the Apple II, which is Jordan's original. You have the Commodore 64 version, and then the Atari 800 version. Now, I don't have any experience with the Commodore or the Atari one. There were other ports that are not included in here, but they really wanted, I guess, keep to the Trinity that were actually the best quality. I kind of wish they would have put some of the lesser, either the lesser known or just even the ones that didn't get it right, because it would be fascinating to see like how they got it wrong, because I have not played, like, apparently there was an NES port which I have never played, but apparently they got it, you know, I mean, and it was on a bunch of other platforms, like I said, and they got it wrong. So the interesting thing about the Commodore version is it had better sound. One thing I didn't actually know about the Apple II is it only had one, it could only play like one sound, and you would modify literally the, like, you were how the speaker vibrated in order to make it change pitch and do a short versus long sound. I didn't know that much detail about how limited the Apple II sound chip was. But look at that, you have the wind sound. I love that kind of sharp beginning part here, that like the really synthy part. That sounds really cool. So there's your text crawl. Okay, very different audio-wise. There's something I like the Apple II actually, like especially that beginning. Maybe it's just my memory of it, like, is kind of clouding it because of my nostalgia. But I really liked. Wow, this one seems really choppy though. Wait, what the hell? Oh, right. Okay, yeah, see, I have not even played this one yet. So, I had 2 buttons for the Apple II. And I remember in one of the videos he said, I'm glad I watched that, because he said the joystick on the Commodore only had 1 button. So they did, if you do a short, like a press of the A button, in this case on my Xbox controller, I do a punch. But if I hold, I do a kick. I forgot about that. I was wondering why the B button wasn't working. Yeah, I'm getting my ass kicked here. But yeah. So, okay, that's what happens when I die. So yeah, I mean, you kind of see some of the differences there. Let's go and look at the Atari one here. So this one's kind of in between. You can hear multiple sounds, but they're not near as distinguished, shall we say, as the Commodore version. Okay. It's not quite NES, but oh, this is actually a lot smoother, though. Do I think this is one. I think I have to use. Yeah, okay. I got to use holds and presses again. Because yeah, Atari only had one button too. Come on, dude. Yeah, I don't like the controls on these ones. I'd probably do though. I'd probably watch the playthroughs on these. But the Apple II one actually plays pretty well. I like the feel of that one better. Ah, I got wrecked again. Yeah, there's something just in the like anticipating the kicks and the punches and stuff. Okay, so here's another new thing. This was really cool. There's a remastered, kind of like they did in the Atari 2600 or the Atari Flashback, where they did a few remasters, like the Haunted House and a couple other ones. Chris Kohler, who is one of the main people behind these projects, he's like, I want to know what was like, why there were so many ports, as I said earlier, but he's like, why did some of them, why were some of them good and why did some of them fail so badly? So if I wanted to remake this and be as true as I could to the original, like, I want to know what's involved, and maybe like, can I make it an homage to the original that stays true to it without losing what made it cool, like some of the ports did? And I played a little bit of this last night, and it was really cool. This one plays. There's a little more smoothness to it, and this one actually has sound effects and stuff because there aren't the restrictions that the original platforms had. That's a cool looking castle. That's a neat. And I love, like I said, there's no dialogue, but just with the music and the graphics, it tells a story. I'm trying to remember. I'm going to let this play out because I don't remember. It would have been cool if they would have narrated this one. Just for, I don't know, immersion's sake on the remaster. But I haven't shown you, maybe I skipped it because I was impatient, but I wanted to show you like the intro cutscene where your girlfriend or whatever the princess gets captured. And I really like the modern look of it, but it still stays very true to the style of the original. So yeah, if I don't hit anything here, I think it. Yeah. Oh, okay. Maybe it does. Okay. Oh, okay. Hey. How you doing? And you even get some drum music in the background there. Some good old combat tunes. All right. So. This one, we got our full menu, and we can do a full commentary. We can turn that on and off. Let's go start. Okay, here we go. So you see the princess. Bad dude's like, nope, get over there. Go in your cell. She slinks off toward her cell. So that's the princess's theme. I like that light coming in from the window. That's really cool style. From the bars in the window. But it's still, like I said, if you watch the original versions of this, it still looks accurate. It's just spiced up a little more graphically. And she crumbles to the ground in despair.
I'm Mike Micah, president of Digital Eclipse, and I'm here to talk about the remastering of Karateka. Okay.
So eventually, as you're playing, if you have commentary mode on...
The game. That's the fun part of this.
I love this.
And one of the fun parts for me, going into this was listening to how everybody pronounces the game that I work with. I pronounce it, and I've always pronounced it, and you're going to hear me say this all the time, is Karateka.
Me too.
But then I've heard people say Karateka, Karateka, and Karateka in other ways. But Karateka is the way I've said it, and I think I've run into more people who say it like I do than
Yep,
the other
that's the
way.
way I always said it,
Obviously,
Karateka.
ultimately, it's up to Jordan, and Jordan pronounces it, and I might get this wrong, but he pronounces it Karateka.
Okay, so there's one bit of inspiration for your...
Karateka is one of my favorite games.
Can I
For
skip
me, it was
this
a lot of fun.
somehow? Okay, I can. But you see, that's how the commentary works. You can listen to it or skip if you already heard it. Eat it, son. There's definitely something a lot more fluid about this. It feels kind of... There's still some... It's still a little
It
stiff.
was just a large graphic on the Apple II, and it was just impossible to move it around. You couldn't really scroll it very quickly. But it was also a really iconic moment in the game, because when you arrive at the castle, you meet the guard, and there's the gate, and that's just like every screenshot of the old Karateka game is pretty much that. And because Jordan wanted to make it parallax, there's some interesting challenges here, because I wanted to draw the gate like he would draw it on the Apple II. So I actually do line draws like you would on an Apple II. So that gate is not a 3D object. It's actually using the same kind of routines that Jordan used.
Cool. Let's fight. We must do battle. Hey! Killed you, boy. But yeah, look at even that part there with the fence there. It's just a subtle difference there to spice it up a little bit, but it still looks, it still retains the
If I approach this
overall
as being
style.
modern-
So we're going to skip this again. We're just going to play a little bit because I've been doing a lot of blabbing this video. Oh, geez. There we go. Kick him in the groin. Punch him in the face. Oh, punk. That's right. Want some more of this?
The approach to the animation in the newer version.
Blah, blah, blah. I kill you. There we go. Come on. Wow, that guy went down pretty quick. But, okay, yeah, so now we get a little bit more of a scene. Go! Go, my minion. Destroy him is basically what's going on there. So that's the remake, or the kind of remaster deal. And a lot of companies would have just sold that on its own and charged you separately, But yeah, I mean, it's just really cool. So you got 3 classic versions. You can play or watch them. The Apple II one has commentary. The remaster plays a little smoother, so if you want to get into it and have it a little bit, make it maybe a little easier, maybe play that one. And that also has optional commentary. Then you get into some of the other stuff that they talk about throughout the documentary, like, oh, now this one, I should play the original first, but I'm going to play the rebounded version, the Death Bounce Rebounded. Honestly, when I was playing this last night and when I started getting to the actual games, this is the one that I found myself kind of getting hooked on. It's kind of like Asteroids, but it's kind of like, I don't even know how to describe this. But you're going through the rooms like almost like you're on a train, and so I get different levels that I can choose from here, but I'm going to start at the beginning. I love the look and sound of this, and it's just a fun-ass arcade game. So it's like a dual stick shooter. You want to be subtle when you move, but I can use my right stick to aim and then, dual stick shoot like that. I got to go through here. I love that sound. You can only get hit once. So you can't really take any hits. So there we go. We cleared that room out. Trust me, it gets harder. Get in there, dude. Okay, that guy takes a few more shots. Kill it. Oh no, I'm lucky I dodged that. Or that he would have went around me. Get in there, dude. Okay, so here's the final room. Got to destroy the core, but you got to dodge that. Uh-oh. No! Alright, so that was easy enough. But when we go to the next series of levels, here's where I'll get wrecked. Because there's a lot more dudes. Ah, uh-oh. Okay, where's the other? Okay. There we are. That is such a cool sound. Ah, kill it. Kill the guys that are close. Oh, jeez. Okay. I've never beaten this series of rooms yet. Oh, you're a... Ah! No! I died. But that's really fun. Not gonna lie, that's really fun. How do I get out of this? Okay, here we go. And, you know, there are scanline options and stuff like that. But then we have, so here's Deathbones. Here's the prototype. You can play or watch. So here's the one that Jordan made, and he originally submitted to... Oh, yeah. Okay, that's right. You use the button. Oh, I died. I forgot how this controls. Right. Okay. Wait, how do I do this again? Okay, I gotta remember what the hell the controls are. Okay, B button does the boost. Okay. I can't play it like the other one. Okay. Oh, turn. There we go. Okay, so it just... I don't actually cruise. Oh, yeah, this gets... Yeah, this is really actually pretty hard. I'm terrible at this. But there you go. There's his original game. Let's see. Deathbones. Okay, Colored Brawls prototype. Okay, so same thing, just a little bit more advanced. Oh, geez. Okay, I'm going a little squirrely here. Ooh, I beat one level. Woohoo! Oh, okay, we got that. Okay. I gotta turn. Come on. Hit him. Oh. It's a lot harder than it looks. But there you go. Those are fun to play with. You know, play around with a little bit. We got another Deathbones prototype. We've got Deathbones. Okay, Space Train prototype. Okay, so this would be the one where he probably adds the mechanic of like, oh, okay, now you can... When you beat a level... Okay, yep. Okay, yeah, now it looks like what we played in the remake. So now it's looking more like the... You got the actual rooms and stuff for the cars. Okay. Here we go. Karateka, Jordan's prototype. And we can do a play or we can watch this as well. We'll play it. So this is super early. Okay. See the health bar on the bottom there? It's actually a line, like I was saying earlier. Didn't even have the full... I love the sound of that last part when it really sounds really synthy. That's the part of the soundtrack that I really like on the Apple II. I just think that sounds so cool. Holy hell, this is choppy. But, you know, you can already tell something's already there. You know, I mean, it looks kind of close to what it would be, but you got the health bars instead of the arrows. You got the sound effect for the dude, for the enemies. Okay. So she's sitting there in her cell. Yep, he's like, get out there. Destroy him. So there you go. There's a prototype. Karateka Broaderbund Prototype 1. Broaderbund Prototype 2. And let's look at Prototype 2 because let's just see how far along it's gotten, how close it is to the real thing. Okay, a little bit of a different style font for the Karateka thing there, or a different look. You got the scroll. Okay, a little different sound. Yep, still don't have the regular sounds in it yet. Well, we have the arrows now. Yeah. I like the digital. Yeah. Alright, sir, you want some of this? Oh, nice kick to the face. Come on. Almost got him. We'll beat this first guy and then... Yeah. Gotcha. All right. When we go through here, we'll get the cutscene again probably. Yep. Okay, yeah, it looks a little more like looks closer to the final. Yep, okay. So there's another prototype. And then finally we have this Asteroid Blaster. This is kind of, I think even before he did Death Bounce, he did an Apple II version of Asteroids so that he didn't have to go to the arcade and blow quarters all the time. But it was funny, one of the videos, they're like, yeah, he sold it, but then he wasn't able to really keep selling it for too long because Atari got mad and they're like, your port is actually too good and it's too much like Asteroids, and so like you're kind of infringing on our turf here, so no, you can't do that anymore. But here's his version of Asteroids. I gotta remember how the hell to play this. I think it's similar to the other game where A is shoot and then B is your thrusters, I think. But yeah, I mean, that's getting some asteroids, killing them. Oh, I should have boosted. Because I remember wow, that was cheap. Yeah, that's how you boost, okay. I remember something that the way the Atari 2600 version of Asteroids was, I kind of played it like I was a stationary turret. And I got so good at it, I could wrap the score around. Apparently I'm not that good anymore, because I remember playing on one of the Atari collections. I tried that, and I don't know, I didn't do near as good, but back in the day, I was very good at Atari Asteroids. But there you go, guys. That is what is available in the game library. But that is also a look at the making of Karateka. the first in the Gold Master series from Digital Eclipse. Again, thank you, Digital Eclipse, and thank you to all of these companies who are starting to take a serious look, who are basically taking these remakes and remasters and collections, retro collections of games seriously. I love this new like interactive documentary style that Digital Eclipse is doing. I love to talk that's the one thing that I wish that the Kawabunga collection had, is I loved all the stuff that you could sift through, but I remember even saying it in that video, where if they would add DLC to that, where it was just, here's some, we went back and we were able to interview some people. I would, or even if you sold like a video documentary and you posted it somewhere as a companion piece, I really love that in the Atari and the Karateka collections here. And that's one thing I wish the Kawabunga collection had, because I would love to get interviews from, like just how they came up with some of the stuff for the original NES Turtles game, and especially the arcade game Turtles in Time. Hugely influential, like the TMNT arcade, Turtles in Time. I mean, many people, myself included, still consider that like one of the best original beat 'em ups ever made. But yeah, like I love that you're getting some companies, and I'm glad they're being successful at it. If you have if you have any interest in video game history, video games in general, video game preservation, buy this game, support this game, support all of these games, support all of Digital Eclipse's work. Support companies like Night Dive, New Blood, all those amazing retro shooters that I've been covering on the channel that they've been resurrecting. We're getting Dark Forces remastered. We're getting, what did they announced another one right around the same time. What was it? But there was another one. They're just, the Turok 3 later this year. So support these developers that are making these games playable on modern systems, and that are, especially for the titles like this, that are diving deep into the history of games and preserving like interviews and design documents and even playable prototypes. This is awesome. I love this. So yeah, I'll quit gushing about it. But it is available on PC, your Xbox consoles, your PlayStation consoles, your Switch. It doesn't matter where you buy it, but buy it. If you have any interest in these types of games, because it's awesome. So that is The Making of Karateka. That is exactly what it's called, The Making of Karateka. The interactive documentary. And it's on your platform of choice right now. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give it a like if you did. Follow me on Twitter at BGFH79, twitch.tv/illegally-cited, illegally-cited.com, and right here on YouTube. And thank you again, Digital Eclipse. Amazing work. Until next time, I will chat with everybody again later.